Today we're going to talk about 2020 AMC 10A problem 13. A frog sitting at the point 1, 2 begins a sequence of jumps, where each jump is parallel to one of the coordinate axes and has length 1. And the direction of each jump, up, down, right, or left, is chosen independently at random. The sequence ends when the frog reaches outside of the square of vertices 0, 0, 0, 4, 4, 4, and 4, 0. What is the probability that the sequence of jumps ends on the vertical side of the square? There are 5 options here, and okay, so I've started off by drawing the coordinate system out and drawing our square. So this is 4, 4. And the blue dot is where the frog starts at. It starts at 1, 2. So what does it mean by on the vertical side of the square? It means either this side or this side. So either side counts as the vertical side of the square. Okay, so what is the chance that the frog ends up at this side? This is pretty straightforward. Just move left, like done, right? So there's 1/4 of a chance that this just happens because it can move in 4 directions, and this is one of the possibilities that it takes in the first step. So done. Now, what if we're not that lucky and that's not what the frog does? So, like, for example, it can go up or go down or go to the right, right? It doesn't have to go to the left. So let's say it goes to the right. Now, before we talk about what happens after that, what's the chance that it actually goes? What's the chance that the frog actually goes to the right from its starting point? Well, the chance is 1/4. And then what happens after we reach the right? We end up at the center. So we end up at the center. So what this means is that by symmetry, by instinct, we know that the frog has an equal chance of ending up at any of the 4 sides. Why? Because we know that no matter what steps it takes, it's equal. So its starting point is equidistant from all the 4 sides. So no matter what steps it takes, there's 1/2 of a chance that the frog ends up at one of the vertical sides. So 1/2 of a chance. Half of the time it ends up at the vertical side. Half of the time it ends up at the horizontal side. So 1/4 multiplied by 1/2. Why is it multiplication? Because it's step by step. So first step, 1/4. So in the 1/4 of a chance that we actually move to here, 1/2 of the time in that 1/4 of a chance, we move to one of the vertical sides. So it's multiplication. Okay, so now what happens when we okay, so I'll just redraw this line. But what happens when we don't move to the left or the right? What happens when we decide that it's better that we move up or down? So if we decide to move up, so let's do that. If we decide to move up, then we end up at one of the diagonals. So we end up at a point on a diagonal. So when we end up at a point on a diagonal, there's also some symmetry over here because this diagonal point is equidistant. It's equidistant to this vertical side and this horizontal side. It's also equidistant to this horizontal side and this vertical side. So there's 1/4. So firstly, there's 1/4 of a chance that the frog actually moves up. After it moves up to here, there is 1/4 of a chance that it goes to the vertical side. Or else it has 1/4 of a chance to move up here, but we don't count that because that's not what we want. And here it's equidistant from this horizontal line and this vertical line, meaning that there is another 1/4 of a chance that it moves to the vertical side over here. So that's that. And what if it moves down? So what if we decide to move down? So let's just redraw this again. So if we decide to move down, then what we get is that we're still on a diagonal. So we move down and we're still on the main diagonal here. This main diagonal. So what does this mean? This means that again the probabilities are the same. It's just 1/4 times 1/4 plus 1/4. So basically this tells us that we add everything up, we get our answer. So 1/4 plus 1/8 plus plus 1/4 times 2/4, which is 1/2, so 1/8 plus 1/8. So if we just we consider this, we change the numerator and denominator, we change it such that the denominator of this is 8, not 4, and we rewrite our expression. We know that the answer is just going to be 5/8. So this is going to sum up to 5/8, so our answer is just B.